It's short and sweet. I'm in Saratoga Springs, and I regret not being able to go to the BMW show that's 2 miles that way, because I've got to go 100 miles that way to a barbecue, which I love going to, but the clock on the wall says it's going to rain. 80% chance of thunder showers until late in the afternoon. I've got a barbecue to go to, it's going to rain, and a BMW car show to go to, it's going to rain. And I've got other things to do that don't really matter about the rain. But what I'm going to do here right now is tell you that I'm down over a quart of oil in 500 miles because it leaks, even though I changed the oil pan gasket. What do we got here? Yeah, that's mine. Still leaking after all these years. So Mr. X Alt, he and Mr. Shogun are the two BMW gurus. I'm a BMW beater. They told me that Mr. X Alt told me that maybe this thing over here, the VCV, variable control valve, I don't know what this crap is. Oh, maybe these things over here, is that what they are? Maybe my distributor caps need to be changed. I got 2 of them. And my spark plugs, I got 12 of them. I got to change those. One of them is really hard to get to. I changed the oil yesterday. I threw out some Rotella Syntec, or Rotella, whatever it's called, 15W40 synthetic, because I was guzzling it like a beer drinking sailor that just made port. And I drained my oil filter and put in some Valvoline Truck 15W40 synthetic blend, and it's still drinking it. I could have a pressure issue. Yeah, the heater valve, that's going next. I just ordered the sword. So I'm kind of jumping all over the place here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the oil cap after I crank this baby up. And I need a couple small things for this. I need the windshield clips. I got those on order. I think they just came in. Or I forget if I ordered them. Crank her up! And she doesn't leave any trails of smoke whatsoever. My coolant that I added a quart to doesn't seem to have budged. Hard to see with me shaking the camera, but let's see what happens with the pressure here. If I have pressure or vacuum, and I have nothing. No pressure, no vacuum. Nice smooth balance. Well, the good thing is I don't have any blow-by. The bad thing is I'm losing lots of oil. Could it all be from leaking? And Mr. X Alt thinks it's the back of the valve covers, but no pressure, no vacuum. Nope. No pressure, no vacuums, and no Suburbans for some Mr. Gas Sub Wild. I'm always looking on eBay and Craigslist. So he said, I don't have any gloves on, he said that it would be leaking from the back of the valve covers because the engine tilts backwards. And I stuck my hand down there, and let me tell you, it's a tight squeeze. You stick your hand down there, right down there. It is a tight squeeze to reach the back of the valve cover. And I did stick one finger down there, and it was not wet at all. And it's leaking like crazy. It's slowed down, but it's still dripping. Yeah. Soaking wet. There's an oil return line that comes into the block. That seems nice and dry. You know what else is happening with this thing? I changed my lower control arm assemblies, ball joints. I changed my rear bushings. And when you're slowing down, when you hit around 50, 55, it starts to shake a little bit, just like the old days. That lasted a couple weeks. Soaking wet. It's coming from somewhere. I'm gonna have to look more carefully because I haven't found where it's leaking from yet, but it is leaking. So no pressure in there, no vacuum. Running smooth as silk. The coolant level doesn't seem to have budged at all. Got my new front gaskets in. I got to take some goof off to that, do my back gaskets. The reason I take the entire door panel off so I can lubricate everything with fluid film. And I probably have a vacuum leak. Because boy, does she run rough when she's cold. 12 little cylinders. Idle's a little high, runs a little rough, not a lot. So I'll pull off the valve covers. once I get the intake manifold gaskets off, or intake manifold off, and inspect my gaskets and silicone them with some Victor Renzel. And I've got a big 31mm wrench to take off the fan. I'll change the thermostat and the idlers and the belts. Considering how loose that chain was in front of the oil pump drive chain, it runs pretty quiet, pretty smooth. And I've put on almost 14,000 miles since I bought this thing in California a couple months ago. Temperature gauge runs right there. Never moves much. Yeah, 174, 162. It was 160 something when I bought it, so 14,000 miles. Not too bad. Just needs the idlers and the belts and the spark plugs and maybe the distributor caps and rotors, intake gaskets. Needs a few things, no more fuel leaks. So too bad. BMW car show is at the Saratoga Auto Museum, which is right over there, and we don't have time to go. We got things to do. She's down of oil. I checked it just below the add 1 quart mark. I drained it yesterday. I was in a rush. I drained less than 4 quarts, and it holds 8 because I filled it up with 8 and it was full. So that's it. Too bad, so sad. Can't go to the BMW car show.